Yo, what's good people? So there's been a lot of talk, a lot of speculation about Mario Kart World DLC. The main consensus is it's going to be based off Donkey Kong Bonanza with new characters and new stages coming from that game. Now I personally don't want to see that, like it would be cool and all, but I think a better approach to DLC rather than adding a bunch of new characters which won't improve the gameplay whatsoever, or adding a bunch of new stages which would improve the gameplay and choice but would still get old after a while. I think the best approach to DLC is adding some new game modes, because the game is half dead. Playing races again and again, playing knockout tour again and again, no one plays battle mode, it gets boring after a while. So I think the best way to add more replayability, more fun to this game, is introducing some new game modes. Now do I think they'll do this? Probably not. I think they'll add one new game mode through DLC, but I would like to see multiple, to be completely honest. So let's just talk about what ideas I have. I will be going over some ideas I have for stages and characters as well, but I think the main focus should be on new game modes. And another point before I jump into this video, I think any DLC they release should straight up be free, after ripping us off, charging everyone $80 for this game at release. It should have been a free packing game with the Switch 2. But yeah, Nintendo trying to squeeze every single penny, or nickel as the Americans say, out of us. But that's besides the point. Everyone's ranted about that enough already. So let's just talk about my ideas for DLC for Mario Kart World. I am absolutely begging, pleading with Nintendo to just show Mario Kart Double Dash some love. It has a huge cult following. I am a bit biased for it because it was literally the first game I ever played, but still many people love this game, and they haven't confirmed to be giving it us on a GameCube Virtual Console. So why don't they just add a Double Dash mode to Mario Kart World, and you could have online multiplayer. They could refine the gameplay a bit more, so the player in the back seat does more than just throwing items. Maybe they could help drift with like well-timed button presses. Honestly, I think a Double Dash mode is the most likely game mode to actually happen, especially because they didn't give us Double Dash on the Virtual Console, and I would love to see the return of special items. Each pairing in Double Dash had their own exclusive item. For example, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong had the giant banana, Bowser and Bowser Jr. had the massive Bowser shell. I'm seeing a bit of a theme here. These special items were just regular items, but big most of the time. I don't care though, they were still baller as fuck, and it actually added some strategy to which characters you picked. It added replayability. It gave you a reason to experiment and play as different characters. Like me, for example, I exclusively play as the Penguin just because it's my favorite character in Mario Kart World. But if each character had their own special item, then I would be more inclined to experiment and play as other characters. It's wild to me that special items was only ever a thing in Double Dash. Even if they do bring us this new Double Dash game mode, there's no chance they are going to give us the character exclusive items, because think about it, there's 50 characters in this game. You'd need a new item for each pairing. That's 25 new items. There's no way Nintendo's going through all that trouble. That's fine, whatever, just please add it into the next game and give us a Double Dash mode in this game, or just give us Double Dash on a Virtual Console, because it's a better game than Mario Kart World. Yes, I said it, I don't care, I just want to play Mario Kart Double Dash, okay? Now, the next idea I have is to do with all the new tech that was added into this game, like grinding on rails, riding on walls, doing multiple tricks in the air. Even if you do all this stuff, someone can just use a golden mushroom and get way far ahead of you anyway, which is fine in normal races, but I think there should be a game mode which actually rewards you learning all this stuff. And I think the best way to do this is make it point based. You get points for your position you finish in the race, but then you also get points for each second you spend grinding on a rail, each second you spend riding on a wall, each trick you do in the air, each charge jump you do, etc. I think doing all this new tech should accumulate points, and then the points are rounded when you finish the race, and the person with the highest points wins that race. I think that's the best way to introduce a game mode which actually rewards players who learned all the new tech in this game, whilst keeping it separate from the actual races and not forcing everyone else to learn it. Now, my last idea for a new game mode is a bit wild, but hear me out. What if they let you race in free roam? Because free roam, it feels a bit pointless right now. Yeah, there's all these P-switches, peach medallions, all that stuff, but no one actually cares about that stuff because there's no reward whatsoever for completing all of these objectives. So many people just ignore the free roam at this point. What if there was a game mode where you could race in there? The objective is to get from point A to point B, and there'll be a GPS showing you a route to get there, just for the people who don't want to get lost. But obviously there's no out of bounds in free roam, so you would be able to create your own crazy shortcuts, and I think this could be a lot of fun and actually create a reason for free roam to exist, because most people don't even use it at this point. Maybe in this mode the only items you can get are variations of mushrooms like single, triple, golden, depending on your placement of course. Maybe even a 5 mushroom item exclusive to this mode, just because you would need mushrooms to do all these shortcuts, and items like lightning or other items which would make you drop your items would be so annoying because it would strand you in the middle of off-road and basically ruin the race for you. So I think mushrooms should be the only item if they actually made a mode like this. I just think this has the potential to be really fun, because the main objective of this would be to create your own crazy shortcuts, and it would make you want to memorize the open world, which Nintendo have failed to make you want to do so far, and it would actually give a reason for it to exist. So honestly, I would like to see the double dash mode the most, but I think this is the mode that is most needed to be added to this game to actually add purpose to the free roam, the open world, and I think it would just be really fun. It wouldn't be a super competitive mode, it would be more of a joking, you know, fun with friends type of mode, but also you can play it online of course. But yeah, those are my ideas for new game modes I would like to see added as DLC. Now we'll move on to some characters. The most likely ones to be coming are characters from Donkey Kong Bonanza, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, like King K. Rool, Kid Pauline as well most likely, but I don't really care about those. So I have a few of my own ideas, like Professor Egad. It's astonishing to me that he still hasn't been added to the game as a playable character. Luigi's Mansion needs some representation, and not only Egad, I think they should add the Polterpup as well from Luigi's Mansion 3. There's not really a playable dog character, and everyone loves the Polterpup, so he'd be great to see. How is King Bob-omb still not a character? Literally one of the most infamous, one of the most famous Mario bosses of all time. I know he was playable in Mario Kart Tour, but no one cares about that game. How is he not a character? I don't understand. Foreman Spike I would like to see as well, and I'm also surprised he was not added with his involvement in the Mario movie. I don't really see him as a crossover character because Mario was literally in the Wrecking Crew game, so Foreman Spike would be a great addition as well. I'd love to see Plessy because he's basically just a fish Yoshi, and we all love Yoshi. You can never have enough of that dinosaur, lizard thing, whatever he's supposed to be. So I'd love to see Plessy added as a playable character. Where is my boy, P.E. Piranha? They add a regular ass piranha plant as a playable character. And yes, I know he was in Super Smash Bros. Of course I know. But still, if you're going to have a regular piranha plant, you've got to have P.E. Piranha to go with him. And it's really shocking to me that in the whole Mario Kart series, we've never really had any Paper Mario representation, so Fawful is probably the most famous Paper Mario boss. I know he first appeared in the Mario RPG games, but he's more well known as a Paper Mario boss, so I think the addition of him would be very cool and keep him in a Paper Mario style. I know many people want the return of Diddy Kong, but I don't think we're ever going to see that because of his sus name, and we know what Nintendo are like. They just rather stay away from the controversy in the first place, so I would bet good money on Diddy Kong just never making an appearance again. In Donkey Kong Bonanza, you'd think he'd be the sidekick, but obviously because of the controversy, they replaced him with Kid Pauline. It probably was Diddy Kong in the first place. Instead, they should add Donkey Kong Jr. and keep him in the 8-bit style like they did in Mario Kart Tour. That would be a really cool retro rep, which a lot of people would appreciate. Also, a tiny bit of a rant here because it confuses me so much why there's no Metal Mario skin in the game. This is like the one game where it would be okay to include Metal Mario because skins are a thing, and they remove him now out of all the games to remove him where he doesn't take up his own unique character slot now. And Pink Gold Peach, I would actually have loved to see a Pink Gold Peach return, and it would have been fine because again she would have been a skin, but no. And why is there no Dr. Mario skin? Why is there no original Donkey Kong skin? They want to sell you Donkey Kong Bonanza so bad, they want to get you used to the new design so bad, so they won't even give you the option to play as the original Donkey Kong. My problem with most of the skins is that most of them are just completely made up and don't reference anything, so they should give us some more skins that, you know, actually reference stuff, actually has bases in the Mario lore. And where is my homie Black Yoshi? Why on earth wouldn't they include a skin for that? It's a literal cult favorite. So many people mained Black Yoshi. Why would you not give us the option to play as him? It makes zero sense to me. He is the most important skin they need to bring back as DLC. Now I'll go over some ideas I have for courses I'd like to see added as DLC, and by far my most wanted retro course to be added is Luigi's Mansion from the DS. I think this course is just perfect. It encapsulates everything about Luigi's Mansion and it would look so good in Mario Kart World's engine, and its course layout just feeds perfectly into Mario Kart World style. You can race through the mansion for one lap, then you can be racing in the backyard with all the mud and trees and stuff in the second lap, and then it can transition into more stuff around Luigi's Mansion going on into the next track. So I think this would just be the perfect addition. I would absolutely love to see the return of DK Mountain as well. I know this has been in about 3 Mario Kart games already. I don't care, it's one of my favourite tracks of all time and it will just fit perfectly into the world. We don't really have a mountain, so you could just put this anywhere in the free roam map and it would just fit perfectly, and it would be absolutely gorgeous remade in Mario Kart World style, and the transitions would be perfect. You can be racing down the mountain for one lap, and then you can be racing at the bottom for the next, feeding into the next course. So I do think, even though we've seen this track a lot, it still has so much to offer this game, and it can be remade in a way where it feels fresh. And if they added Moo Moo Meadows, they can definitely add DK Mountain as well. The next track I would like to see is Wario's Coliseum from Double Dash. It's the only course from that game that hasn't been remade, and we don't really have another track like it. It's not the most interesting track because you are mainly just racing down like metal rails and stuff, but they could spice it up a bit, make it more interesting, and it already has a sick jump near the end of the lap. So I think this would be a great addition and could really be imagined differently, could really be remade in a much better way. And the final retro track I would like to see added is Yoshi Island from Mario Kart 8. I just think this could look gorgeous in the Mario Kart World engine, and it's a really fun track, and I kind of just wanted to include more tracks from Mario Kart 8. Even though you can play that game on the Switch 2 still, they can reimagine this track so it feels different enough and you're not getting deja vu. Alright, so now I'm going to go over a couple ideas for completely new tracks they could add as DLC. It completely baffles me how they haven't made a course based on Bob on Battlefield yet, but since they haven't, we could go even further. Imagine the first lap, you're racing across Bob on Battlefield, you go up the hill, you jump off the hill, and then that leads into Womp's Fortress. You race across that, and then the next lap, you're racing on top of Dire Docks, and then in the fourth and final lap, you can race through the Bowser in the Sky level. It's completely shocking to me that they've never made a course just based on Bob on Battlefield in the first place. It already has a layout that would be really good for a racetrack, but with how Mario Kart World likes to make each lap basically its own different course, we can go even further and represent Mario 64 altogether with the 4 courses I mentioned. So I think that would be a really cool idea for a new track. The next one is Champion Road from Mario 3D World. Mario 3D World doesn't get enough love. I think it's a fantastic game that got a lot of unjustified hate, and I think the final level of that game would make for a great course in Mario Kart World. Imagine you're racing across the rooftops, dodging all the enemies, dodging the fire raining down on you, and then you race up that massive tower at the end, jump off it, and restart the course from there. Now, it's very surprising to me that we've never had a course based on the Paper Mario series. I'm not too familiar with the games myself, so I don't know what the course would actually look like, but I know a course made in that art style could be sick, could look amazing. I don't know how difficult it would be to transition the Paper Mario art style to a Mario Kart World course would be, but they should try to do it, and if they can, they definitely should. And then the last idea I have for a new course could be like a zoo type course. I know this sounds basic in concept, but this could just show off all the different Mario enemies, Mario NPCs in their enclosures, and kind of show you what animals they're supposed to be. Like for example, Koopas could be where the turtles are supposed to be. You could see plenty of penguins, and maybe it could have like a little Easter egg with all the forgotten Donkey Kong characters like Candy Kong, Kiddy Kong, Chunky Kong. Maybe they've been held in captivity this whole time, and maybe that's why we haven't seen them. I know that's a bit dark, and Peter would probably be on Nintendo's ass for that, but hey, we could release them at the end of the track, and then it's all well and good, right? But yeah, those are just my ideas for what I would like to see added to this game as DLC. I think the main focus should still be on new game modes, because that adds more replayability and more fun in general to the game. This wasn't predictions though. If you do want to see me make a realistic predictions on what will come out as DLC for Mario Kart World, I'm happy to do that. Let me know in the comments, but you know what to do. If you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe, all of that stuff, share it to your nan, and yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching. See you all in the next video.